over the month of December, I was truly spoiled with some amazing birthday and Christmas gifts. And what better way to start 2025 than New Year's new pickups?
Get pickups! To the games room! Rush trips! Not get your hand! Oh yeah!
Hello folks and welcome to the first pickups episode of 2025, and it is safe to say I was truly spoiled over the month of December, having not just Christmas but also my 40th birthday. And in this episode we're going to go over some of the incredible gifts I got from friends, fans and family for the collection. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and please subscribe. So I put new videos out every Saturday night at 5 as well as bonus content throughout the week like this one, and I really want you folks along for the ride. And if you want to join me playing games over the course of 2025, come and give me a follow over on Twitch. Twitch.tv/DannyGamesman, Twitch. As I said, I have been absolutely spoiled over the month of December, having not just Christmas but also my birthday. And the eagle-eyed among you may spot the first gift from my good friend Kieran, this incredible Dan the Gamesman light above me. For me, lighting is very, very important in the games room, and seriously, we have a massive theme of lighting with this pickup episode. Sticking with the theme of lights, Kieran also got me this incredible Mega Drive light. And this is going to take pride of place on my Mega Drive shelves. I just love having lighting all around the games room, especially when it's branded lights like this one. I just think it makes your collection pop so much more. Not a gift for myself per se, but Kieran got this for my wife, this absolutely incredible Pokemon Gengar controller stand. For me, displaying controllers around the games room can be a real pain. This is going to look absolutely awesome on the stand in front of the TV for his and hers gaming controllers. We're carrying on with even more lighting for the games room. I just love the way it makes it feel like being in an old arcade. That kind of neon everywhere, it just screams to me retro. And this Stranger Things light was a gift to me from my mother, and it's double-sided. So we have the Stranger Things logo and also the upside down. And thankfully this one also runs off batteries, because honestly, the wiring in the games room can be an absolute nightmare. But this one just gives me proper 80s retro feels. But when it comes to lighting for the games room, this could be the granddaddy of them all. When I first came across these items on Amazon, I knew I needed these for the games room. Now I have a specific plan for these pretty much greatest lights I've ever seen. Because for me, these just personify everything I love about lighting in a games room. These are the definition of retro arcade chic. This is the first of 4 arcade lamps. This one with the Street Fighter 2 decoration on it. It just looks so cool. Essentially, these are shelves modelled after the top of arcades. They look super duper cool, and even better, these light up. So with these, they are rechargeable as well, so no wires required. How cool is that? These are rechargeable shelves for the games room. Now I have a specific plan for these. These are going to sit up here in the games room for my NES games. I have asked for these for Christmas of my family, specifically for the NES Top 40 at 40, because what better way to display these incredible retro games than with these incredible retro inspired gaming arcade lights. As well as this absolutely incredible Street Fighter 2 arcade lamp, I was gifted 3 other designs by my family, which should be more than enough room for my complete NES Top 40 at 40, with space for bonus games. And these come in a variety of designs. So first up, we have this kind of undead, retro-inspired One More Life light, which is really gothic and cool. I really like this one. Then, keeping in theme with that 80s retro chic, we have this Palace Arcade Stranger Things inspired light. It's literally the definition of arcade chic, being inspired by the arcade from the series. And finally, as well as that Street Fighter 2 licensed arcade lamp, we have this Sonic one. This one looks super duper cool. It may be a bit sacrilegious to put Nintendo games on a Sega shelf, but I think when these are lit up on the side of the wall there in the games room, it is going to be an absolute neon paradise up in here. Moving on from lighting, but keeping it retro, next up we have a DVD from my good friend Sim, WWE Best Matches of the Decade 2010 to 2020. Now, I've been watching wrestling since the late 90s, and I remember a time when DVDs were the only way to watch wrestling. I actually grew up buying VHS wrestling tapes so I could relive some of the best pay-per-views. Of course, in recent years, in the past decade, we have had the WWE Network. Rest in peace. But of course, here we are in January and the WWE is going to be on Netflix. I think it's going to usher in a massive new wave of wrestling fans. It is so exciting that so many more people are going to have access to wrestling live on a weekly basis. Sadly, gone are the days of WWE DVDs, and they no longer make DVDs, but I think with Netflix, we're about to enter a golden age of the WWE. Sticking with the wrestling theme, check out this absolutely incredible signed Roman Reigns picture, which my brother got me for my 40th birthday. And unfortunately, in the games room, space is at a premium, especially when it comes to wall space, so I will be hanging this above my bed, much to the chagrin of my wife. But quite ironically, for Christmas, I bought my brother a signed Roman Reigns picture also. It was quite the hilarious thing unboxing it on Christmas Day, but it just shows that great minds think alike. Sticking with somewhat retro formats, next up from my good friend Scott, we have the Castlevania soundtrack. Now this is on a 10-inch vinyl, and you may not know, but I am a massive fan of vinyl records because of mainly the artwork. And look at the artwork on this. This is a thing of absolute beauty, and the gatefold of this is even more incredible. There is a full set of these for the first 5 Castlevania games, and honestly, Scott, I think you might have started something with this first record. Next up, we have some games. Yes, you may be surprised it's taken this long to get to games which are gifts, but honestly, I can imagine and somewhat understand how it can be incredibly difficult to buy me games, because who knows what I have in my collection. Sometimes even I forget what I've got in my collection, but we have some absolutely incredible Switch games coming up next from my sister and my nephew Charlie, who also coincidentally got his very first gaming console for Christmas with the Nintendo Switch, and we played a lot of Switch sports over the festive period. It is absolutely incredible. It's so strange thinking how long ago Wii Sports came and changed everything, and now it's back on the Switch and people are still absolutely loving it. It's just one of the best pick up and play games I've played in absolutely years, but I still have some absolute bangers here for the Switch. So first up we have Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. So I heard really good things about this game. I've heard it's like a turn-based RPG. Normally I wouldn't touch anything Rabbids based, but the Nintendo seal of approval for a Ubisoft game means this must be good. So let me know in the comments down below if you've played this one. And we were talking about Switch sports, but when it comes to pick up and play party games for any Nintendo console, you can't go far wrong with WarioWare Move It. This game, again, is absolutely incredible. It has some very questionable hand movements and will make you look a little bit silly playing it, but at the end of the day, that's what Switch games are for, especially when you're playing in a party, getting up and shaking it. Which brings us on to our next game, which was a gift from my good friend Dan, who you may know streams with me over on Twitch playing Helldivers every week. We've been a little bit slack over the festive period, but trust me, the fight for freedom and democracy will continue in 2025. But the game he picked me up for Christmas is this absolute banger, Pacific Drive. This game was released in 2024, and I dare say this is a hidden gem. This is a game a lot of people slept on. Essentially, it's like a procedurally generated car survival rogue-esque game. It's very hard to describe. Essentially, you are trying to drive across a kind of contaminated zone in the middle of America. It is like aliens and kind of anomalies. It's very hard to describe. It's one of those games you kind of just have to play. And I've put the trailer to the side here and hopefully it makes some sense. Essentially, you continue doing runs, you will die, break down, you start again. But essentially, over time, you will make your car stronger, more resilient, and hopefully cross the zone. It's one I'm only just jumping into, but straight away I can tell this is definitely going to be a hidden gem and one to check out in 2025. Our penultimate pickup this time is a delivery by good friend of the channel, Rob, who is always spoiling me by sending me little care packages, and it's super duper appreciated. So let's jump into this one. I have no idea what's in here, but it's packaged really well, and I guess it wouldn't be Christmas without a Terry's chocolate orange, so have that later on. But jumping in here, first off, we have some N64 games. So first off, one of the very first N64 games I ever played, which I got bundled with my very first N64 console, F1 World Grand Prix. Still an absolutely banging F1 game to this day. There's even more N64 goodness in here. So we have Rugrats for the N64. And I've never played this one, so let me know in the comments down below if you've played this one. Next up we have a game which I think got slightly overshadowed by a little known game called GoldenEye 007, Mission Impossible. I actually think this is a bit of a hidden gem and a cheap banger for the N64. And we have even more games in here. So here we have a Master System game and a game which I've never played, Clax. Now I know this is an absolute classic puzzle arcade game, but I've never played any version of Clax, so definitely looking forward to jumping into this one on the Master System, which I think could be a bit of a banger. I'm sure I probably just slept on this one for about 40 years, but there we go. Next up we have a Steelbook. You know me, I'm a massive fan of Steelbooks, and this is the strangely named Mortal Kombat 1 Steelbook. Brand new, in the wrapper. I just love it when games do these kind of bonus steelbooks for pre-order. I'm very happy to cross this one off my steelbook want list. And last but not least, we have Ghostbusters 1 and 2. I've been on a real 80s movie binge at the moment, and these are undoubtedly two of the best 80s movies of all time. And of course, we have a card in here as well. Thank you very much to Rob for these very, very thoughtful gifts. Which brings on to our final pickup this time, which was a care package of gifts for both me and my wife from our very good friend Lucy. And even though Lucy lives at the other end of the country, we always talk every single day. And it just goes to show you can still be very good friends and live miles apart. And Lucy knows both me and my wife very well. And we have some absolutely incredible gifts in here, which she has found mainly on her hunts, as like myself, she is a massive fan of getting out in the wild and hunting for cool stuff, and more often than not, sending me the cool stuff. So first off, we have this Raphael TMNT plushie. So I think this is one of the newer Mutant Mayhem ones, but I absolutely love it. This is super duper cool. And you know by now, I'm a massive TMNT fan, and this one will sit happily just behind me here on the sofa. Sticking with the TMNT theme, here we have this tiny kind of Leonardo figure. Now, I've never seen this figure line before. There's 4 figures in the set, so you know, we're going to have to get all of the turtles. You know, we can't have the brothers alone at Christmas. Diving in a little bit more, this is super duper cool. I think Lucy found this in her local CEX store. It is a coloured PlayStation 2 controller I've never seen before. I've never seen this colour of controller anywhere. I think I'd like either describe it as like puke green or like Nickelodeon green maybe. It's super duper cool, and I'm slowly aiming to pick up all of the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 colour controllers, so very happy to cross this one off the list. But I'm slowly getting buried in gifts, and I absolutely love it. Digging deeper into this box, we have a little bit of a book here. Star Wars A New Hope doodle book. Of course, Lucy and most of you know I'm a massive Star Wars fan, so can't wait to do some of the doodles in here. Digging in even deeper, the gifts just keep going. Here we have, wrapped within an inch of its life, if I can open it up, a PlayStation 2 memory card. Now, Lucy has sent this for the specific reason of being used in an upcoming episode of Thanks for the Memories, which if you haven't seen on the channel before, is where we dive into old memory cards to go back and relive or experience for the first time some truly banging games. So stay tuned for a new episode of Thanks for the Memories coming very soon from this very PlayStation 2 memory card. But we ain't done yet, folks. Recently, Lucy picked up a bundle of N64 games, consoles, controllers, and this, what is this called? It was for Pokemon, the transfer pack, which could be used for Pokemon Stadium. And now I don't actually have one of these in the collection because I've been holding out for a boxed copy of Pokemon Colosseum, or is it Stadium? I forget. But let me know in the comments down below if you know what else this can be used for on the N64. This is the box that keeps giving. We're into the last pile of games here. Let's get into these. So I think these are all charity shop finds. And as I said, Lucy, like myself, is always on the hunt. And we have some absolute bangers here. So starting off, we have, for the princely sum of £2, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. Now, I actually really enjoyed this game online. I'm sure it's probably dead and buried by now, but it's a really good, I would say kids game, but it was just a really good online shooter. really good game. Definitely recommend it if you haven't checked it out. Then we have Tekken 6. Not the biggest beaten-up fan, but this was a game which was missing from my Xbox 360 collection. And honestly, there's not many games I still need for the 360, so very happy to grab this one. And Narnia Prince Caspian again for the Xbox 360. I think it is weird kind of movie tie-in games like this, which are going to get rarer and harder to find in the future. Xbox 360 prices over the course of 2024 were absolutely crazy. They are starting to level out in 2025, but trust me, if you're collecting for the 360, I wouldn't sleep on it. There we have it then, folks, and what an amazing first pickups episode of 2025. But of course, Christmas and December in general isn't just about the gifts. It is about hanging out with friends, family, and just being jolly. And I know it can be a hard time of year for so many people, and I think going into January, it can be a bit of a depressing time of year. But stay strong if you are struggling this time of year. It does get better, and I'm going to be here to try and entertain you as much as possible, not just through January and February, but all throughout 2025. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and as always, keep playing the game. See you all soon.